Don't write about the laptop. Former reporters reveal how Politico shot down negative stories about the Biden crime family. Wow, we already knew this. We already knew this was happening, but it's interesting to hear these reporters actually admitted what we already knew. And it's funny how they waited till after the election. They waited till after um, Biden actually left the White House before they came out and started admitting the truth. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna play the clip. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Liberty Daily by way of the Daily Caller, and they report that two former reporters with Politico accused the outlet of suppressing negative stories about former President Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden during the 2020 presidential election in a video clip posted on YouTube Thursday. Dozens of former intelligence office officials signed an October 2020 letter published by Politico that claimed a bombshell New York Post report about emails from a laptop supposedly abandoned by Hunter Biden. I don't know why it says supposedly abandoned, because we know for a fact that it was Hunter Biden's laptop. He admitted to it. But anyway, quote, has all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation. You know, I've covered this when this was happening. I told you um, the 51 intelligence officers were lying the entire time. But they knew they were lying. They knew they had no reason to believe that this was Russian disinformation. They were trying to help Joe Biden win an election, which he did in 2020, and partial because of these 51 intelligence agents going in and telling this story and making this lie up to try to discredit the laptop. But the article goes on to say Puck News reporter Tara Palmieri and Axios reporter Mark Caputo discussed the political newsroom's alleged approach to unflattering reports about the Bidens on Palmieri's podcast. Somebody's Got to Win, though the outlet has denied their allegations. Of course, they're going to deny it. You think Politico is going to admit? They're going to admit that they censored their own journalists? A quote, Politico did that terrible, ill-fated headline. 51 political agents or former intelligence agents say the Hunter Biden laptop was disinformation or bore the hallmarks of disinformation. But let's just get to the clip here. Here we go.
Another great example when Politico did that terrible, ill-fated headline. 51 intelligence agents or former intelligence agents say that the Hunter Biden laptop was disinformation,
right,
or bore the hallmarks of disinformation. Turns out that story was closer to disinformation because the Hunter Biden laptop appeared to be true.
But then Facebook also
Absolutely.
pulled all stories down about the Hunter Biden laptop, and I think Twitter
Right.
did at the same time too.
Correct.
Yeah.
They punished the New York Post. It didn't help. I mean, Politico, my former employer, and I knew at the time, didn't do itself any favors. I was covering Biden at the time, and I remember coming to my editor and saying, hey, we need to write about the Hunter Biden laptop. And I was told this came from on high at Politico. Don't write about the laptop, don't talk about the laptop, don't tweet about the laptop. And the only thing Politico wound up writing was that piece that called it disinformation, which charitably could be called misinformation at the least.
Yeah, I mean, I had a hard time. You know, I wrote some pretty serious reporting on Hunter Biden, which actually ended up getting him prosecuted, the story on the gun.
Yeah, and I remember you consulted with me because you
wow.
did the original.
Oh, wow. So this is the reporter that actually broke the story about the gun, about Hunter Biden's gun. Wow.
Report on the gun. And you came to me like, how do I write about this? I'm like, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, because it was hard to get it done.
You figured it out.
I spent three months on it. I went to the laptop shop and I did all of the reporting in Delaware, and I did all of that. But yeah, it had to be like it had to be 100% nailed down. I had everything, you know, the police reports, I'm a solid reporter, but I do wonder if it would have been published a little quicker, if it was a different type of story.
Well, since we're spilling tea about our former employer, I still have a copy of the story on my external hard drive. In 2019, a rival presidential Democratic campaign of Joe Biden's gave to me the tax lien, the Oppo research, the tax lien on Hunter Biden for the period of time that he worked at Burisma. And I wrote what would have been a classic story saying, the former vice president's son was slapped with a big tax lien for the period of time that he worked for this controversial Ukrainian oil concern or natural gas concern, which is haunting his father on the campaign trail. That story was killed by the editors.
Wow.
And they gave no explanation for that either.
Wow.
So,
can you believe he passed on a big story like that? Wow, wow, wow. Politico is a political hack. You can't listen to Politico. You can't follow Politico because they're basically another arm of the Democratic Party. This is crazy. You have a story that big and they squashed it just to protect Joe Biden.
that general experience, obviously the public doesn't know about those things, but as a reporter, having witnessed the way in which the two candidates
we just get called like the terrible mainstream media. It's like you don't understand the process there.
We also don't understand the dumb decision of cowardly editors that are
the
made.
man above us when we're trying to do our jobs. You know what I mean? We're just looking for scoops, man.
The big bias is toward a good story.
Wow. 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 So everything we've been saying about the mainstream media is absolutely correct. They protect the DNC. They protect the Democrats. They protect these liberals all the time, and they don't hide it. Man, that's crazy. You have a story that big, those stories that big, and they squash them and delay the stories and all these other tactics that they use to protect the Democrat Party is just crazy. But Twitter locked multiple accounts, including the New York Post and the personal account of then White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany for sharing the October 14th, 2020 report, citing a hacked materials policy. Documents released to journalist Michael Schellenberger by Elon Musk showed that the FBI contacted Twitter about the potential for leaks involving Hunter Biden prior to the New York Post report. He said, quote, correct. They punished the New York Post. That didn't help. I mean, Politico, my former employer, and I knew at the time uh, uh, didn't do itself any favors, said Caputo. I was covering Biden at the time, and I remember coming to my editor and saying, hey, we need to write about the Hunter Biden laptop. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy hearing them admit this. Palmieri, however you pronounce the name, claimed to have experienced difficulty getting a story regarding Hunter Biden's purchase of the 38 caliber revolver in the 2018 in 2018 published. Hunter Biden was convicted on 3 felony counts related to buying the gun in June 2024, but of course received a pardon from old daddy from his father on December 1st. Biden pardoned 5 other family members shortly before his term ended. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Caputo recounted that Hunter Biden's laptop was not the only story regarding the Bidens that was allegedly killed by political editors, man. I mean, again, just hearing this is so infuriating to hear this. But we knew this was happening. We knew this was happening. But again, just to hear the reporters actually admit what we've been saying over the years is crazy. Politico disputed Caputo's recollections in response to a request for comment from the Daily Caller News Foundation and sent a list of references to their past reporting on the Biden family. Oh, wow. So here's what Politico have to say. It's BS. During the year's reference, Politico journalists lead the way on wide-ranging reporting on the business dealings of Joe Biden's closest relative. Ben Schreckinger was probably the top reporter in the country reporting on these matters. He literally wrote the book on it. A book is just because he wrote the book on it, it didn't show up in Politico. A Politico spokesperson told the DCNF. Through deeply reported coverage, both pre and post election, Politico provided readers with nuanced understanding of the dealings of James Biden, Hunter Biden, and other relatives, the president along with the ethical questions they raised. No, they didn't. I can't think of one story from Politico that actually talked about this, especially James Biden. I don't remember them ever talking about James Biden on anything. And James Biden, he's the main one. I mean, we hear about Biden, I mean Hunter Biden, but they don't really talk much about his brother James. And James Biden been doing a lot of dirt over the years since Biden pretty much been in government. But notably, Politico was the first to confirm that Hunter Biden's laptop contained genuine materials to report on the gun incident that led to his conviction, which he's getting no jail time, no prison time, or anything for, because Daddy Biden wrote him off and gave him a pardon. It's just crazy. It's crazy. I don't care what Politico say. We all know what the real deal is. I believe these reporters. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time. Peace.